Good morning, everyone. I'm Rohit from the marketing team at Lead, India's largest school and tech company. On behalf of Lead, I would like to welcome you all to the live webinar on how to train your teachers to become super teachers in coding and AI. Today, we have with us Dr. Shailaja Jayashankar. She is the Senior Curriculum Development Director at Leadership Boulevard Private Limited. A teacher turned edupreneur, Dr. Shailaja comes with 17 years of experience in K-12 teaching. She is an innovative and passionate tech professional using technology to improve education worldwide. I'm sure you'll gain a lot from today's session, given her knowledge and experience in the subject. So, without further ado, I would request Dr. Shailaja to take the stage and initiate the session.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for the kind words. Yeah, I'm super excited. Good morning, one and all. I see people joining from multiple parts of the country. And I do see some IT teachers, some robotic teachers. Wonderful to have you all here. So I'm the Senior Director at Leadership Boulevard. I think the number speaks for itself. So our presence is in 400 plus cities, 9,000 schools, 5 million students is where we are touching upon, and 50,000 teachers. That's like a huge number, we should say. Our presence is almost everywhere if you just see the map. So I'm super proud to be part of this organization. When I say 17 years of experience, it's throughout been in maybe education. I'm based out of Bangalore, so it was mostly in international schools, teaching the privileged lot, I would say. So why this journey has been so satisfying? Because we are trying to touch upon students' lives, teachers, schools, changing schools in tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 cities also. That gives me immense pride and joy. So I'm super excited to be part of this journey and taking technology to these schools. So let's move along. Yeah, I think this is a very powerful image. If you can just, we've just given 2 years there. 2010, what was the situation? 2010, what is the situation? What is the current situation? When we say 2020, we are in this decade. So in the chat, if you can just bring up, what does this signify? Or why do you think we've put this image for you? Each one comprehends it in a different way. So would love to see what would be your response. I'll just pause for 20 seconds so that I take your answers. It would be good if you put it in the chat so that we know how to keep this webinar more engaging, more catering to your needs, right? That's the whole idea. So please bring it up. There's no right or wrong answers here. Each one of us can comprehend it the way we want it. I don't see any response to. I think the internal team can also comprehend this. What exactly are we trying to do through this? We can have Rohit's first response coming in, I think.
Audience, please let us know your answers in the chat box. It would be really helpful for us to get to know what your thinking is regarding technology. So please try to engage with the question. Yeah.
Okay, as we still didn't get any answers, we're not trying to scare people here. All we wanted to say is technology is around us and it's changing our lives in a big, big time, right? So this one image, I think you can only see 2 people there. One is the helicopter pilot, the other is the camera or the photographer. Both of them have lost their jobs, right? At 1/10 or 1/20th the cost, we are doing exactly the same thing in a better way, right? Photography has gone a next level. I think even in our weddings, in our schools, we get drones now to take your shoots, which wouldn't have been possible if you had to hire a chopper there, right? So technology is around us. It's good for us to embrace. Students need to be tech savvy today. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So audience
Shailaja,
questions. Yes.
yeah, before you move ahead, we would like to ask the audience, which technical skills should schools teach as a subject in the 21st century? Audience, please use the chat box and answer this question. We would really like to know your thoughts on this. We'll wait for 20-30 seconds for everyone to answer.
I think we've got the first answer, programming AI ML. Bang gone, Bala sir. Let's wait for some more answers.
Yes.
If you agree, you can just give a thumbs up. You can put those same answers again. Coding in AI, yes. Mohammed Kef, thank you so much. I think all of us are aligned. All of us think in the same ways, which is great. Yeah, we get a thumbs up from Adam sir. Rishabh says coding. Javed says finance and life skill. Yes, definitely. Coding has become a life skill now, right? Whether whatever job you take up, right? We have owners, we have principals, teachers, IT heads, even students. I think we could not spare students also in this COVID time. Without technology, without computers, we couldn't have had classes. So it is become a life skill. Everyone needs to know how to work on a computer. That is like the basic requirement now, no matter what job you get into. I hope all of you agree with me, right? Yes, we get a thumbs up here. AI, robotics, science, and coding. Yes.
I think
Great.
Shailaja, interestingly, now that I'm seeing the answers in the chat box, people are saying coding AI. It is so interesting that when we were in school, it was still 21st century, but 10, 12 years ago, the technical skills were so different. The technical skills were to, if you know MS Word, if you know PPT, right? But now it is so interesting to see that people are talking about and they want school curriculums to sort of integrate coding, AI, ML. Like the shift is just amazing.
Exactly. Bang on, Sneha. Nobody's talking about IT skills or PowerPoint, Word, MS Excel, right? All these are IT skills, I think, which was enough for our generation. If you did not learn when you joined a job, I think you were just given a laptop. That was the first thing that we were given, and we had to sail through. We had to learn. If you have learned it in your school or your past, I think it became easy. Otherwise, you had to pick the skill. I think the same thing is going to happen. Not think, we're already sure. Definitely, this is what is going to happen when our kids get into the market. So in 5 to 10 years, I think there'll be even more a larger shift. So coding, AI, ML is the skill which is required. Great. I think everyone is on the same lines here. Okay, so we can't stress upon this. We already spoke about life skill. It has become a core life skill. Whether other subjects gets used or not, math, language, computer skills will come in handy. Future jobs, we've already seen how 2 jobs were already replaced at 1/20th the cost, right? So if you do not embrace technology, we are not just one generation behind, we will become 2-3 generations behind and unemployable is what we can call. So NEP also recommends coding and computational thinking to be the prime focus. Computational thinking is a very niche word now. Nobody knew the meaning of it, but since NEP started saying this, everyone is wondering what this computational thinking is. Imagine how much will a school be in a position to implement it when we don't understand the meaning of it, right? As we are going ahead with the decks, we will dwell upon what computational thinking is, right? And the schools, the kids that we deal with at least are not the privileged lot where they have fancy gadgets at home, not that privileged again to have a one-on-one classes, pay so much through their noses. So within the school, if you set up, I think you're doing a great, fantastic job to empower these children for the next generation, keeping them tech ready, right? So I think it's a great initiative that you all have joined in, thinking in the same lines. Kudos to you. Next slide. Yeah. So we will talk about coding in computational skills, which is also called as a CCS. That's where we always refer to. But before that, we all understand, but how we are teaching? I'm sure this is the scenario in your classrooms too. At the most, you would have picked a book to teach coding, and then you're teaching it on the board, right? Why? Because there are problems. We teach it theoretically, irrelevant IT skills, right? I'm sure most of you agree. As parents, if you've bought a new phone, you're struggling to maneuver through it. Just give it to an 8, 10-year-old kid also. They'll figure it out in, like 5 minutes and say, Mom, see this, Dad, see this. I've cracked it for you. We don't need to teach them. They're already there. They understand this world better than us, right? So we don't have to teach them irrelevant IT skills. They will learn it all by themselves. Private publishers just provide you a book. Do our teachers have that capability? What we end up doing again, teach it theoretically and not give the practical approach. We need the practical approach. That is where is the change. That is what we need to bring in. Outdated softwares, right? If at all you have learned in school, at least when I go back in school, I learned, or in my degree, not even in school, I'm talking about QBasic, COBOL, Pascal. You wouldn't have even heard of these, right? So when I got into the market, all of these skills were irrelevant, redundant for me. I had to reskill myself, upskill myself to get into this field. So outdated software is what most of us are teaching. Let's see how can we make that shift. So what does it actually become when we teach with these age-old traditional methods? One, taught theoretically. So all the children do is they just remember and try to reproduce, which is forgotten over a period of time. Then it's difficult to understand. When you just go with text-based coding, it's very abstract for them until unless you crack it and simplify it for them, right? So they think, okay, coding is like a black box. I can't understand it. And very, very far from real life. If at all we are teaching, most of you might say, yes, we are also teaching Python. We're teaching age-old, not age-old softwares. We're talking about current ones. What kind of programs are we teaching? At the most, we will say, write a program to add 2 numbers. Write a program to generate prime numbers. Is this even connected to real life? In real life, we are using cool apps, which can do everything, amazing games. It's completely disconnected. What do we teach to what the child is using in real life? There is a disconnect. We need to bridge this gap. How are we going to bridge this, right? And what happens finally? The focus is on getting the correct code, if at all. If most of you would have done coding in engineering, all you would have done is by hearted the search, sort, or the program there because you've not understood. It's an abstract thing. You go, you don't understand the logic. You just get that code right. You get that marks and you're done. Nobody enjoys coding if you teach it theoretically. How should we teach it? You should take a practical approach, right? Talk about problem solving. That is the niche skill. When we say problem solving is where we say computational thinking also comes in. Moving on. Okay, next question. Yeah, go ahead.
Shailaja, now that we have talked a little bit about CCS and what the challenges the schools in India face, audience, we would like to know what, according to you, could be the challenges in incorporating a coding curriculum at schools, at your schools or at any of the schools that you have been associated with. Please use the chat box and let us know what are the challenges you face while incorporating a coding curriculum.
Thank you, Rohit. I think that's important because we talking is easy. Doing is difficult, right? The very thought of implementing coding at your schools itself will give you multiple thoughts. What are those challenges which come to your mind is what we wanted to understand here. Please bring that in the chat box. Bang on, sir. Lack of simplified coding platforms. Yes, we have some new age softwares now. People, especially the MIT University, Massachusetts University of Technology, have come up with exclusively only to teach kids, because this is not just the problem in India, what we are facing across the globe. I think all of us are in the same place. So there are softwares. We will talk about them. Advanced labs, yes. Advanced thinking of students and parents, right. So as school leaders, teachers, you understand the need, but it's still not percolated to the parents, right? We're working with government schools that is not implementing. So how do we connect with those technologies? Yes, the government is also trying to do it now, but we're still lagging behind. There's lots to be done. Lack of awareness and interest in the computational field. Yes, I would beg to differ here. They feel computers is not required at this age. We can pick it up at any time. But the more you do, the more experience will a child get. They'll be that much more comfortable. I think parents now know that if my kid does coding, have this programming knowledge, they'll end up with a nice white collar job. That is come down. So you see most of these BTech courses, first bet will always be for computer science. Then comes IT, then comes electronics, right? It goes down. But parents are aware of, but they're not clear as to why it should come even in your school education, right? The early you begin, you master it so well. That's something that I think you should, as school owners, teachers, start talking about, right? Lack of perfect knowledge and experienced teachers. Yes, thanks for bringing this, Dr. Tejaswini. I think most of our schools, those who have these coding skills, why will they do a teacher's job, right? They will be programmers. They move to the closest city, metro, and then pick up a nice white-collar job. Why would they want to teach? Exactly. I think we've got great, brilliant answers here. This is more or less, yeah, there's one more: sufficient trained teachers, knowledge about coding. Perfect. I think these are the broad 3 buckets as per our research also, because we have this program in our 9,000 plus schools. This has been we've bucketed into 3 sectors. Yes, next slide, Sneha. Limited time is one thing you can also talk about. You have so many core subjects to deal with in school where they'll have to go write a board exam. Where will we make the time, right? So we're not asking for too much time. 2 periods per week is also good enough, right? Limited resources. When we say resources, we are referring to hard, because just a classroom setup with a board was not enough for teaching coding in AI, right? That is one limited resource. Teachers. Do we have qualified teachers? Do we have trained teachers? Are they even ready to upskill is the next thing. Lack of familiarity and training, right? You don't get them easily in the market because it's such a niche new skill. Only now is where it's evolving. Some motivated teachers might go start off with some. Next slide, please. So how are we trying to solve? Efficient time management, upskilling through free courses. When we talk about free courses, multiples of them are available. But how many of them can your teachers complete? Forget your teachers. I myself, I'm really enthused about a course. If somebody has told me about it, I joined, especially if it's free. I'm not paying anything. I end up enrolling with that enthusiasm. It's more self-paced. You will have to keep up that momentum and go. How many of you, honestly, have completed an online course, which is self-run? Put a yes, let me see. I think we'll have more yes and no. I am putting my hand for no, I don't complete them. How many of you for yes here? Or no also? Please type in the chat. Yes? Deepa is being honest here. There's a no first coming. No. Harish also. So when we ourselves don't do it, imagine our teachers doing it, right? Then you pep them up and say, next year we're going to do this. Let's bring in coding and AI. Do this course in the holidays. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We'll do this. I will upskill myself and come. You talk to them after the holidays. I started the course, but I could not complete it, sir. It got very boring. It got very monotonous is the things that we see, right? We already have 4 no's. Our teachers are no different from us. We can't expect them. So there needs to be a proper way of training them, right? So we will talk about it. How do we go about this training? How do we upskill? Yeah. So how to empower your schools and train your teachers with coding and computational thinking skills is the biggest question that everyone have in their minds. Okay. So we know we have to bring it to the students, but before that, we need to bring it to the teachers also. When we say students here, for us, we are talking about both teachers and students, because we don't only talk about, taking things to your students, like giving a book and closing it there. For us, teachers and students are both students for us. Whenever I'm saying students, I'm referring to both of them here. The goal of LEAD CCS, CCS stands for Coding and Computational Thinking Skills, is built for students to be logical thinkers and confident coders. How do we get? What are the steps that we follow? Next slide, please. So how do you say a a student or a teacher is a confident coder and logical thinker. They have one strong conceptual understanding, right? You don't have to learn the syntax of it, just the conceptual understanding. How does a program work? What is the logic behind it? That is conceptual understanding. Next, applies tech solutions to solve real life problems. Not just do the sum of two numbers, generate Fibonacci series, prime numbers is not real life solutions, right? We don't write programs for that. We do, but that's only a part of it. So apply it to solve real life problems. You find a problem around you, try and solve it, right? Tech savvy and connects coding to life. Tech savvy, I think everyone has become, COVID has taught us to be tech savvy. Whether you like it or not, I think we've progressed 10 years shift being tech savvy in these 2 years. Had we given it as a, as an additional good to have skill, we would have never learned it. It became a requirement. It became a necessity. So all of us are tech savvy now, but how do you connect it to coding? How do you understand this coding world in a better way? Reflects on problem solving process, learns from mistakes. I think perseverance, working, consistency, all this also comes with coding, right? Moving on. So these are the traits of a logical thinker. So we want technology creators versus technology consumers. Definitely. Don't we want this with your kids, with your school kids also, right? Just to talk about what is the difference between a consumer and a creator, your thought process itself starts to change. Just to give you an example, maybe, okay, iPhone 15 has come recently and everyone has that craze. Whether we like it or not, we just want to change it. How many of you have already bought an iPhone 15? Put a thumbs up or give some reactions. I think you can just have the reaction there. We can see. How many of you have bought? You can say yes, no, whatever. No, okay. Wise man somewhere. Deepa is wise here. How many more? Even a no as an answer is what we want. Okay. Keer says yes. Does that mean you've already bought one, sir? Bala is like, why is this coming up? I'll tell you why. Because when you're a consumer, you just think through whether I need it or not. Is there a feature shift from a 13 or a 14 to 15? It's just, being like a FOMO. Everyone is buying it. It's a prestige thing for me. I'll just buy it. Kids are also like that these days. Whether they want it or not, get me a tab, get me a phone. Everyone wants a phone, right? So when you become creators, you appreciate technology and you start thinking, evaluate it. Do I even want it? Can I just do it with this? Is what you start thinking. So that's like a basic example between a creator and a consumer. We don't want our kids to be just consumers. Everyone are consumers, just mere consumers versus be creators also, so that you understand what is exactly going behind it, right? Yes, we want all of us to be technology creators. Moving on. Okay, how have we built this curriculum? Like we said, government is also taking a lot of initiative. NEP 2020 very clearly said we should start teaching coding, computational thinking at as early as primary grades, right? But you can say you might come from different backgrounds, CBSE, ICSE, or the state boards. They don't have any structured curriculum till grades 1 to 8, right? They give you a framework, you just have to follow them, or from 9th onwards, it's an optional subject. Everywhere across the globe, it's the same problem. So there is a framework called CSTA. It's an organization based out of US, Computer Science Teachers Association, where they have given a complete framework as to what we need to teach from grades 1 to 8. All developed countries also use the same framework, and we are aligned to these frameworks. Our curriculum we've taken the framework so well and integrated it that it's 100% aligned to it. Then CBSE has also come up with their artificial intelligence, AI and ML course for middle school upward. 9 and 10 has been an optional subject which you can start teaching. If you have a good base, you can't just start teaching from grade 9 directly, right? If you have a good base, I think it'll turn out to be much, much better. These are the government initiatives that they are doing to enhance or bring coding, AI, ML to forefront. There always used to be an information technology curriculum. So we have taken a base from all of this and developed our curriculum. Next slide, please. Okay. We say, yes, we've built it, but what is our key principles? We always use 5 C's. Now, 5 C's stands for connected to your previous learning, connected to life, caters to all learners, concentric, contextual, right? I hope you all, it's very simple English, right? How are we trying to put this into coding? Why do you think it is? Do you think these 5 C's help in coding to teach coding in AI? Bring in a thumbs up. Among the 5 C's, what do you think is the most predominant here? We'll develop on each one of it. But what do you think? Please bring it in the chat box as and then I continue. Okay. We get an yes there. Let's talk about connected to previous life, previous learning. Next slide. Okay. Everyone knows the lion and the rat story, right? Something we always start with the known, take them to the unknown. If you start with unknown, kids just switch off. That's what we're doing. When we start with coding, they have zero knowledge. We start with that, they switch off and they think it's not for me. And you've already bought that aversion. I am not cut out for. It's only for geeks. It's only for those nerds, right? It's the common thing that we hear in schools. If you start from the known, you try, you know the story. Come on, put that into a digital story now. Once you've made these characters, the known characters, we will slowly build unknown characters like the space shuttle and then build a game, right? So take it from known to unknown, the child will automatically get interested. That is connected to previous learning. Next slide, please. Connected to life, right? I'm sure most of you are teaching IT skills in your schools, and we will give an inventory table and say, do this in Excel. When you're teaching a spreadsheet, Excel, whatever. Or you will say, do a library inventory. How is a child even connected to it? Will they even know this is the librarian's job? What should I do? You will say, tabulate your friends' results. That is a teacher's job. Where will a child be able to connect? Versus give them something that they know, like plan your monthly expenses. Imagine if they've planned it for their moms and for their parents and show this and say, where can you improve? Where do you think you can cut down? And analyze it. Okay, the festival is going to come. How do we do your budget better? Which parent will not appreciate it? I'm just taking simpler examples here. Yes, we do see in the chat block-based coding. Yes, definitely. Teach block-based coding to these kids, right? We have softwares like Scratch Junior, Scratch, build games. The previous slide that you saw, we've built games using Scratch Junior. Yeah, so have examples which are connected to life. Next slide. Caters to all learners. This is again a very predominant thing. There are kids who learn by watching. So we have audio-visual content, strong visualization, images, hands-on activities kids love. We have those activities. Group tasks. So you don't have to do it independently here. Group task, computer lab activities, all of that, right? So caters to all learners. We get, ma'am, PPT looks stunning and informative. Request you to mail. Definitely we will. And yes, all of this will lead to scientific computing, computational thinking, logical analysis. All these are different terms. This is where it leads to. Children learn to problem solve. Yes. Next slide. Concentric. We can't just leave the child to themselves, right? This is a proven research-based method of teaching. We always start our lessons, every day's lesson, not just, one whole day the teacher will teach. Next day they will do some activity on their own, and then assessments will come towards the end. That's not the way. Retention does not happen. So this is the structure we always follow. Teacher-led, teacher will demonstrate, students will do it in small groups or individually, and then there's a small assessment in everyday class. Only then I think the learning will be solid and they will take it across. Retention will be powerful. So we have used the same concentric learning in our coding program also. Next slide. Contextual. Exactly. If you have a brown hair student sitting there, the minute they say, okay, it's not for me, right? If you have names like Sam, Pat, again, the child will think it's not at all meant for me. As it is, they're scared. They think coding is a black box. If you give these kind of games to westernize the whole thing, they will not. It needs to be contextual. Now, this is you might be wondering what these two foxes are doing here. These are our mascots. We call it COCO, which stands for Coding and Computational Thinking. We have that baby mascot there for all primary grades because the child can associate to. They love it. They love drawing it, giving it everything else in our schools. We should see the way how creative kids can get. And we have the Teen Coco also. This is mainly for our middle school. And if you see examples from their life around them is where it interests them. So this is where we're making it contextual. If you apply all these 5 C's in any of your subjects, I think the learning will be amazing. Your retention, your kids will love it. You don't have to force them to go read. They'll read by themselves. Yep. Next slide. Okay, here we are. Proud to share what we want to do. We've spoken a lot about it. I've been telling what is that you should not be doing, but I've never told you what we do. We take the project-based approach. 5C, of course, we've spoken about. Project-based approach. So Sneha would request you to just play the first one, which is grade 2, and make it full screen, please. This is a project which every kid in your classroom will build. A grade 2 child, remember that. I think we can pause this. Imagine a grade 2 child building this game. Right? Who will not want to? Parents won't even believe that your kid has built this. And this was built by using Scratch Junior. So you get an amazing wow feeling. Rather than if we had to do this with text-based coding, it wouldn't have been possible at all. For a grade 2 child, it's unimaginable. Like somebody very clearly pointed out, we don't have proper softwares to teach these kids. We have these softwares now. Scratch Junior is an excellent one for it. Right? Let's bring up the next project now. I think a grade 5 project can be played. Sneha?
Yes, Shailaja, give me a moment.
Yeah. Yes, I think ma'am says Picto box. Yes, we have a lot more. Please pick and choose. The most popular among them are made for kids. It's Scratch Junior, Scratch, MIT App Inventor to build your apps. So let's see the grade 5 program now. Or I think if switching is a problem, I think let's play the grade 8 program directly and skip grade 5.
Yeah, I think there's a technical glitch. Just give me a moment, just trying to solve it.
Sure. Okay, talking about softwares, right? We spoke about Scratch Junior. Again, the child should believe that I am also capable of doing something like this, right? So it gives you a platform where building games, building small animations, stories is very, very easy. And it's free of cost, by the way. All these softwares that I've just listed, Scratch Junior, Scratch, MIT App Inventor, are all from MIT. And free, open source, you can use it the way you want it. You want online, offline, all kinds of supports are available, right? I hope whatever softwares you're using, please bring it in the chat box. Let's see what else you guys are using. What would you like to use? So we start with Scratch Junior for grade 2 and 3 so that they get comfortable. It's more like a puzzle. In case you don't know what Scratch Junior is, it's more like a puzzle. Kids love to solve these puzzles. Scratch is a little advanced where you can do a better game. Next is MIT to make apps. Now is a world of apps. Everyone wants to build something for mobiles, right? So let's play grade 8 project. Watch carefully and tell me what this app is doing. So fastest finger, observe the app and put it in the chat. What is this doing? Thank you, Sneha. I think you could bring the slides back. If you can tell me what exactly is this app? What are we trying to build here? It's already built. How many of you would like to build an app like this and tell me what is this app doing? Let's get it. SOS app. Yes, Harsh, sir. Bala sir says you are using Scratch. Definitely. which is very good. Awesome job on that. Kids love it, I'm sure. They just don't want to leave the computer lab, though. Kind of ways they explore it, the kind of games that they build, right? SOS app, yes, Bala sir also says. For those who don't know what an SOS app is, any other terms if you can explain? How many of you would like to build an app like this? This is, by the by, built using MIT App Inventor, and you can actually place this on the Play Store and start using it. Share the link with everybody. How many of you want to build such kind of apps? Like Sneha very clearly said, we don't come with that technology, but everyone are using it. Now there is a need, there is a craze that I also want to learn technology. I want to build apps, right? How many of you would want to build these kind of apps? You don't have to be with any technical background here to build this, let me tell you. It's just 10 lines of code, trust me. And we've integrated it with, and sending an SMS, if you noticed, we're integrating it with the database because the phone number that we saved was getting into a database. We have used Google Maps. There, it's just not saying I'm feeling unsafe, just saying that is not going to help, right? The location is also shared. So that's an SOS app. Imagine a grade 8 child building this. And you don't have to take years. Within that year itself, the child will build. The grade 2 project that we showed also, so your students will become brand ambassadors for you. If a child has to start talking in English, it takes a few years. This is the language you can learn within no time, right? If you want to market things, you build this app and you show. Admissions will automatically come. Maybe have a show and tell kind of a day. Call in parents. Which parent will not want their child building something like this? In a year, less than a year, in first term itself, you can see these kind of results getting developed, right? So Lead CCS implementation, it's made very, very easy. You will have those questions saying, yeah, you all have built it, but where do I have my teacher skill set to build something like this? Will be the question which is running. We have answers to that too. Let's look at it. How are we solving the problem? We provide teachers with teacher tabs. Teacher tab is like, okay, I always think and eat, breathe coding only, I think, and science fic is my most favorite topics of all. I'm sure many of you would have seen Superman or Iron Man movie, right? You get into that gadget and then everyone gets that superpower. Similarly, teachers get the superpower with this tab. There's everything literally. How will you conduct a 40-minute class? First 5 minutes, what are you going to do? What question are you going to ask? What are the most probable answers? If the students are not answering, what is the answer that you can give? How will you conduct a group activity? What are the material required? Everything, literally everything is there on the tab. We also give teacher preparation material. We give online trainings to these teachers, certification to these teachers, so that they're confident enough to go teach. We are not like those free courses that we spoke about because it's very different from what exactly is there. What is in your book, what you're supposed to teach is what we train the teachers. So they will be super enthusiastic there because they don't want to look like I don't know anything in the lab, in front of students, right? So they will do these courses. All we need is 10 minutes of preparation. On the tab itself, there are different instructions for the teacher saying, this is how you should conduct the class. Now in the class, there are videos, there's everything. All the teacher needs to do is click. Click. We will also provide a TV. The video will play on the screen. For a lab activity, the code will be there. She will only have to explain. That also comes, it's self-explanatory. Teacher can just add her, her ways of teaching methodology there, but literally everything is there in the tab. Any teacher with or without coding knowledge can become a super teacher. So that is why we had this name. Any teacher can become a super teacher here. Here is your answer, right? So that is given for a teacher. What do the students get? Books, definitely. They have seen it in the classroom. How will they revise or try to remember? So we have QR codes in the book. The child can scan all these videos, resources, projects, programs, everything, whatever the child has seen and done in class can be revised at home. We give assessments too. So your teachers don't have to think about assessments. What do? We'll give you digital assessments. Go to the lab. Yes, we have a theory day followed by a practical day. Practicals is mandatory. We can't just teach coding and AI as a theory subject. Until unless you see it, you build, it comes to life. You can't believe it. This is how the app is going to get built is not the answer to it. The child should experience it themselves. When your program works, the joy that comes, the twinkle that comes in the kids in the teacher's eyes is what we need to see. Only then will that confidence get built. Okay, I can also do coding in AI. I know how to do it, right? So theory class followed by a lab class. So there should definitely be a lab instructions, projects, code for the project. What are the most errors that the child does? How can a teacher solve for it? Everything is there in the tab, which becomes very easy for a teacher to solve kids' problems. So this is the CCS offering. Next slide, please. Okay, so what do schools need to get started with CCS? Can you please bring in your chat box? We told we'll give you all of this. What is that is required from your end? Teachers, students, of course, other than that. Please bring in your answers. Type them. Commitment, definitely, Harish. Agree with you. So half the commitment problem also we would have solved because it is so engaging and motivating. Little of commitment is enough. Everything else is taken care of by Lean. What else? What else? It's not like a math or a science subject where one classroom with just one board will be sufficient. We need something additional for this, right? What is that? When we say we want to do coding, we want to do AI. Waiting for your answers. Advanced labs, yes, bang on. Well-equipped labs, yes. So without a computer lab, computers cannot be taught. It's a myth, we'll say. We'll just use a book and teach computers. You will see drops. You will see the disinterest among students, teachers. It's like not having it only. It's better not having it. Okay, 3D printer is good to have, not necessary as such. Resources, yes, I think, yes, that's the challenge that one faces. There is a little add-on which comes with coding in AI. Next slide, Sneha. So we did see advanced labs here, but we would beg to differ, saying a basic lab will do. We do not want teachers who are highly qualified. A BTech, BCA, MCA is good to have, but if a teacher has basic understanding of coding, especially for primary school, with this little commitment, like Sir said, and just going through our certification, going prepared a bit from the tab itself, 10 minutes of preparation. We're not asking for 10 hours. 10 minutes of preparation, a teacher can be a super teacher. How a class can be delivered in an international school, that level of delivery can happen with this little commitment and a little training. Next. We just need a functional lab, which is i3 computers is also good enough. We do not want a high-end with high processors and i5 and i7, i3 system with 4 GB RAM is also sufficient. Next. We say internet is good to have, but it's not mandatory. Most of this will work offline also. So these are the basic requirements we need. CCS teacher, definitely. But with just coding, little coding knowledge is good. An i3 system and lab. Internet. With or without also works. Next slide. So these are the softwares. You do not have to shell a single rupee extra to buy softwares. Hardware setup is one part, softwares is another expensive thing, right? And every time you'll have to go for renewals if you're going for MS Office, right? So we have gone with all free open source softwares. There are plenty of them. You can just download them and use it the way you want it. So these are the list of softwares that we teach in primary grades, and these are the list of softwares that we teach in middle school. Okay, so predominantly Scratch Junior, MIT, all of this we spoke about. We teach a little of HTML and JavaScript also, so that the child understands how web development is done, how app is built, MIT App Inventor, Python for desktop computing, AI ML is also taught to Python. Python is the programming language of this millennium, and it is here to stay for the next decades to come. So it will never get outdated. We do not teach any outdated softwares. An equal substitute of MS Office is LibreOffice. Why would you have to spend so much money on MS Office? every 2 years to make their money, they keep changing. Why should you change? Why would you spend so much money on it? Right? Equivalent is LibreOffice. All we need to know is how do you create a spreadsheet? How do you do a Word doc? How do you do a presentation? And most of us, if you see now, we've shifted to Google Suites. We use Google Spreadsheets, we use Google Presentation, Google Docs. Who is using MS Office? Actually speaking, right? It's only learning how to manage it. Moving on. So LibreOffice is what we teach. Everything is free, open source. How do you get it? It's easily available on the internet. If you do not have an internet, we do give a pen drive too. Next slide, Sneha. Which has all the softwares. You don't have to do anything. One click. We've written a code in such a way. You just have to plug it in, give one click, all softwares what's required will get installed in one shot. And this is a one-time activity that you'll have to do in the beginning of the year. All the softwares that you've listed will get installed. Next slide. Okay, CCS requirements, we've just broken it down even further, simplifying it for you, whatever you saw there. Now tell me, we've solved your teacher problem, the 3 problems that you spoke about. 1, training your teachers. You won't find teachers. We've solved that for you with just a tab giving you everything. How do you interest the teachers? How do you, if a child makes a game, something like we saw, or the app that we saw, which child will not be interested? As an adult, when I'm interested, why will our child not be? So we've solved your student problem. Time was the next thing which came with 2 periods a week is all what you need to give. You don't need a hi-fi lab. We understand it's a huge investment for any school. We do not even say an average class size is somewhere between 25 to 40, 45. Not all students have to sit on one system. Okay, there's peer learning. 2 people can learn together. So 2 systems, just have 50% of the systems will also do. So this is all is a requirement. Moving on. So we understand your constraints and we've solved for everything. High cost, time to set up the lab. We will solve that for you. Lack of access to latest hardware now. Many of you have been telling advanced labs. We need 3D printers. Not exactly. You can do hi-fi stuff, amazing stuff. Like just one example that we showed. We built 7 such apps in a given single year. Every grade builds different 7 projects. Accordingly, age-appropriate projects they build. We don't need 3D printers. We don't need advanced. So you should know what kind of hardware and software you need to manage these things. Lack of technical support. So we've solved all of your other problems. To solve your next set of problems, your hardware setup, we bring to you, next slide. We bring to you transformational labs, a one-stop computer lab solution that will make your school a center of technology. How? We provide hardware, software. If you want networking capabilities so that you connect your systems, yes, we give you implementation support. Have we solved it for you? So one-stop, hassle-free, everything end-to-end is taken care of. 100% branded components, we give you 3 years of warranty and at a 30% less cost than any open market. Right? So we are solving end-to-end all your problems. Next slide. So what is the hardware? Desktops or mainframes, thin client. If your budget is a little more lower, thin clients, so that we have just dumb machines. We have one server which has all the capability. Price-wise, it goes down a bit. Hardware accessories like your mouse, keyboard, softwares, your bare minimum softwares only so that you don't spend on your softwares. We will coach. We will download the software so that it's easy for you. Networking, infrastructure, implementation support also with 3 years warranty comes to you. Yeah. Next slide. So why is it? We've solved all these problems, whatever you listed in the beginning. So now it's time for you to become that super school and be the center of technology. What does it give you? What is it for you? We spoke about what a teacher is going to get, what a student is going to get. What will the school get? Right? You're getting 35% cheaper hardware. In case you have an old setup already, we upgrade it to whatever is a bare requirement of your computer lab rather than overspending. Brand image. I think you will be the school of the future. Parents do understand this, that they should learn coding until it's made visible. if they see their kids building such kind of projects, which parent will take away their child from the school? Everything else, learning takes a little longer to be visible as such. If you want your students to just start talking in English, it takes at least 2 or 3 years. This, it's immediate, it's instantaneous, right? Your children will be the brand ambassadors. You don't have to go looking for admissions. Admissions will automatically come. So this is what is there for you by making that little shift and starting to teach coding in schools. Make your school NEP ready. That's one thing I think everyone are struggling to. It will make you NEP ready. Next slide.
Shailaja, before we move further, we do this at the near end of our session. We are nearing the very end of our session. So I would like to request the audience. I will be launching a poll, and we would just like to know how confident are you feeling about implementing a coding and computational skills curriculum in your school after the knowledge session we had. Uh, a lot of insights and details shared by Shailaja. So, audience, please let us know how confident are you feeling. Okay, great. We would like to see more answers, please. I will keep the poll open for 10 more seconds. So please engage with the poll. Let us know your answer. Let us know how confident you are feeling with implementing a coding and computational skills curriculum. I will just close the poll and share the results. So, Shailaja, as you can see, a lot of people are moderately confident. Uh, some are quite confident, and some still need more assistance.
Okay, so I still need more assistance. Is very minimum, which is 1, which is great. So
Yeah.
I will conclude that I think I've been able to instill that moderate confidence at least. Thank you so much for that. So moving ahead, I'll quickly take 5 minutes to tell about Leadership Boulevard, our company. So like we explained, we give you books. It's an integrated solution. When we say integrated, what do we mean? We give student books. We give TV tabs for the classroom and the teacher. We give kits for students to engage with hands-on activities. That is why we call ourselves integrated learning program. Yeah. Gone. Not just an integrated program, but we also give you holistic learning. How are we giving holistic learning? Assessments. We have an English program, which I know English is a major mind block or a blocker in your schools because all subjects has to be taught and written in English, whereas that English skill itself is lacking, right? The child might know the answer to the question, but they have not understood the question itself properly, right? So English skills percolates into all your other subjects. So we have an excellent English program to give an opportunity for your students to come out and build their social skills. We have something called Lead Championship, which is great. Like I said, these apps that children build, actually, we, in this competition, ask children and teachers to solve a problem around around their area. So they're doing a problem solving and come and present this app. So they get a national level platform to come and demonstrate themselves. Not just this, we have multiple championships in all other subjects. I'm just talking about coding because this session was mainly on coding. We give personality development skills also from many of these celebrities. So all of this will be a package for your kids and teachers to attend. Next slide. Teacher enablement. So not just your students will upgrade, your teachers will upgrade, because we definitely know Without your teachers upgrading, just the kids cannot do anything. And a school has limited time and energy and focused approach to upgrade your teachers. We do that on a continuous basis. Tab itself will give you the teacher the superpower, right? Self-paced certification, in-person trainings is something that we give to build capability in your teachers. Slide. We give, okay, we're always talking about teachers and students. What do I get as a school owner? You get the ERP solution. You can really know insights of what your teachers and students are doing, even inside a classroom, right? Real-time insights, communication to parents, everything becomes seamless and easy. That is what you get. Sitting in your room, you have full control of what exactly is happening in your school through these softwares. Next. So it assists you. We are just not, a publisher. We assist you. We partner with your schools. We give you teacher training, support, teacher orientation, help you with admissions. How do you tackle? How do you talk to parents? Let us know what your concerns are, and we're there to help you out. That's all I can say. Moving on. So we have 4 different programs. One is our base lead program. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, we have acquired Pearson K-12 business, and all of Pearson's publication schools are also ours now. That is the India business. We have Pinnacle as our product, next Propel as the next 4th variant of our products. So you can choose from a wide variety based on your requirements. So please take a screenshot of this, note down this number. Any queries, if you want to partner with us, just give us a missed call and our academic managers will get in touch with you, give you the best fit, find out your requirements and give you as per your requirements and needs.
Yes, thank you, Shailaja. Thanks for the very detailed insights and thanks for this session. I'm sure the audience might have a few follow-up questions for you. I would request audience to share their questions in the question box or the chat. So we would really like to answer those. We would like to help you out with your questions, please. So please type them in the Q&A button or the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll just share the feedback form and our contact details in the chat so that audience can reach us very easily. Let us know your feedback on this session. We would like to know how helpful these sessions are for you and if we were able to help you out in any way regarding your CCS and coding problems. So I have just posted the survey link in the chat.
Shailaja, first of all, thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you, audience, for taking the time out and participating with us. You have been wonderful. Like Rohit and Shailaja already mentioned, there's a number on your screen. Take a screenshot of it. All you have to do is give us a missed call. Someone from our team would reach out to you immediately. And if you have any further questions about LEAD, about coding and computation skills curriculum in general, put in your questions on the chat box. We'll happy to answer. And or else if you want to talk to us later, there's a number, give us a missed call and we'll reach out. To everyone who's asking whether we will be sharing this deck, and yes, we would be sharing the deck to all the participants. And the video, Shailaja's entire knowledge session would also be shared with everyone, along with a participant certificate.
Thank you so much, Sneha and Rohit. Thank you, audience. You were wonderful. I think we were all at the same page, which was a great thing. So we could, although we started a little late, we are bang on, finished within time. And thank you, Lalit sir. Good initiative is what you say. Yes, we would love to bring coding and AI to these schools, the metros, tier one, tier two also manage to, but if it's tier three and below, I think through schools is where we can reach this out. Otherwise, they will be left out and not learning these skills. So please, 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 a humble request. It's a great initiative that already taken time and participated in this. That shows that you have the right intention to get this program into your schools. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's continue the mission.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Shailaja. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you, everyone, for joining in the session. I will just be ending the session now. Thank you so much, audience, for joining in. If we, as Neha said, if we couldn't answer any of your questions, or if you have any questions, please reach out to us on the number we have shared in the chat. And yeah, just give us a missed call, and we will be, our representatives will be reaching out to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.